Hi there, welcome to EAFC24 Evolution. For the first, I've got to start this with a disclaimer to say that this is not going to be the most glamorous video. I had a choice. I could have done all of the matches every single week, but that would have taken a very, very long time. At the same time, I did not want to be one of those people who only suggest the Premier League exists, so I want to at least acknowledge the existence of the other leagues and cover their results, which I'll do offline before we then do each Premier League game individually, therefore meaning that at least fans like myself of teams outside of the Premier League can see how their teams are doing and what the likelihood is of them being in on the games in the future. So we've changed the transfer system, so the transfers are now going to work that there's no transfers in the summer, there's no transfer window during the season, but before each game, each team will have a chance to make transfers, and they're going to be potentially localised or roughly localised to their league position. But so the idea is you see each team, if they start doing well, gradually building strength as they climb up the leagues. So yes, we'll see how it develops from that. So let's go through the results for Football League Week 1. And first of all, we have the results for the eflleaguetwo. So Notts County, who did make, there weren't a lot of signings in League 2. Notts County, they made a minor signing, and they also developed one of their players as well. Other than that, there weren't many other signings. I think maybe Grimsby or Walsall. I think Walsall made a signing. Again, a minor one, so nothing headline grabbing. But Notts County, they returned to the Football League, and they returned to the Football League with a 1-0 victory over MK Dons. Morecambe and Wrexham drew 2-2. Crawley lost 2-0 at home to Accrington. Forest Green and Wimbledon drew 2-2. Then it's Colchester 1, Stockport 2. Bradford 2, Harrogate 1. Doncaster 1, Salford 2. Mansfield 3, Gillingham 0. Walsall 2, Barrow 0. Swindon 1, Newport 0. And Sutton 2, Grimsby 1. And finally, Tranmere 3, Crewe 1. Now this now means that the table looks like this. And I don't know why the app sometimes doesn't do the goal differences correctly. Certainly not in the early games. But I'm sure over the season that will work itself out. So we have Accrington leading the table on 3 points. Mansfield in second. Tranmere third on 3. Walsall fourth. Stockport fifth. Bradford sixth. Salford 7th. Sutton 8th. Swindon 9th. Notts County 10th. And then with just the draw points, the 1 point for the draw, Morecambe 11th. Forest Green 12th. Wimbledon 13th. Wrexham 14th. Then the rest on 0 points. Grimsby, Doncaster, Harrogate, Colchester, MK Dons, Crewe, Newport, Barrow, Crawley and Gillingham bottom of the league. Obviously, because there are no teams to replace them with, no teams will get relegated from League 2, but they could just end up with some very, very forlorn hopes. So we shall see how that goes. But yes, don't panic, Crawley and Gillingham fans, not only because it's just the one game so far, but also you can't go any further down than where you are. And next up is the results for League 1 Week 1. And we start off with Carlisle 2, Reading 3. So a win on their first match after relegation for Reading. However, not so lucky for Blackpool. Blackpool 1, Northampton 2. Stevenage 1, Wigan 1. Barnsley 1, Leyton Orient 1. Cambridge 0, Bolton 2. Peterborough 1, Oxford 1. I think we're loving these 1-1 draws. Port Vale 1, Derby 3. Portsmouth 3, Bristol Rovers 1. Cheltenham 1, Wickham 3. Charlton 0, Burton 0. Exeter 1, Lincoln 1. And Shrewsbury 2, Fleetwood 1. Not really any transfers to make you aware of in this division. A couple of very, very minor ones, but that's it. So, yeah, nothing headline grabbing at all. And as far as the League One table goes, Derby top on 3 points, Portsmouth second on 3. Then you've got Bolton third, Wickham fourth, Reading fifth, Shrewsbury sixth, Northampton seventh. Then we come to the drawn teams on 1 point, Wigan, Barnsley, Peterborough, Lincoln, Exeter, Oxford, Leyton Orient, Stevenage, Charlton and Burton. Then Carlisle on 0 points in 18th, Blackpool 19th, Fleetwood 20th, and for now the relegation zone is Cheltenham, Bristol Rovers, Port Vale and Cambridge. So now we head to the Championship, where there were a couple of transfers of note. Michael Helik, the centre-back, transfers from Huddersfield to Swansea. Swansea have already got plenty of centre-backs, but he did make it into their first team. As you can see down the results list, didn't really help them much. Preston also signed Admiral Musquet from Premier League Luton, but he didn't make the bench. So, yeah. So those are the two signings of note in the Championship. The results then, Leicester, after relegation, and Leeds, both having a good start. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Leicester 3, Leeds 2, Ipswich 1. However, Southampton were stunned by Plymouth, just up from League One. The League One champions, Plymouth 3, Southampton 2. Then Middlesbrough 3, Cardiff 1. QPR 2, Coventry 1. Sunderland 1, Rotherham 0. Huddersfield 1, Blackburn 1. Millwall 0, Birmingham 0. Stoke 1, West Brom 1. Swansea 0, Hull 2. Bristol City 2, Watford 2. And Preston 3, Norwich City 1. And so we look at the Championship table. So after one match, Middlesbrough are top with 3 points. Preston second on 3. Then Leicester, Hull, Plymouth and Leeds in the playoff positions, followed by QPR and Sunderland. Then we go down to the teams on 1 point. Watford, Bristol City, Blackburn, West Brom, Stoke, Huddersfield, Millwall and Birmingham. And then the teams who lost their opening game. Southampton 17th, Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry, Rotherham, Ipswich, and in the relegation zone after the first week of games, Norwich, Cardiff and Swansea. So, just to round up, I'm sure when you saw the title you would have been expecting to see actual EAFC action. Well, this is, if we want to include the other Football League teams, which I do, this is one of the processes we need to go through. We will be watching all of the Premier League games, but we don't want to exclude the other teams. And all of these results were generated on EAFC with QuickSim, so they have been through the game. These weren't just ones I made up, just to clarify that one. So the next time we come back to this series, we'll be watching some football, and like and subscribe to keep up with that. Thank you for watching.